Have you ever wondered which towns in America have the most deep-rooted racial issues? Imagine living in a place where racial disparities are glaring and hate crimes are disturbingly common. Today we're uncovering the 10 most racist towns in the United States, from places steeped in a troubling history to towns facing shocking levels of modern-day racial tension. We'll delve into personal stories, analyze hate crime rates, and examine economic disparities that reveal the stark reality of these communities. Prepare yourself for an eye-opening exploration into some of the darkest corners of America, where the shadows of racism still loom large. Number 10, Vidor, Texas. Vidor, a small town in East Texas, has a notorious reputation due to its history as a stronghold for the Ku Klux Klan. In the early 1990s, Vidor became infamous when attempts to integrate public housing with black residents were met with fierce resistance and threats from local residents. The federal government intervened, but the town's history of hostility towards African Americans remains a dark chapter. Although there have been efforts to improve, such as community outreach programs and public events promoting diversity, Vidor's legacy still casts a long shadow. Source information can be found in the description below. Number 9, Harrison, Arkansas. Harrison has a long history of racial tension, often linked to the presence of white supremacist groups. The town came under national scrutiny in the early 2000s, when racist billboards promoting white nationalist ideology were erected. The local chapter of the Ku Klux Klan has also been active in the area. Despite these challenges, community leaders have organized events and initiatives to promote inclusivity and diversity, such as the annual Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade. The town is working hard to shed its negative image, but the past is difficult to forget. Source information can be found in the description below. Number 8, Benson, Arizona. Benson has faced significant criticism for incidents of racial profiling and discrimination. Reports of law enforcement targeting minority groups, particularly Hispanic and Native American residents, have sparked outrage and calls for reform. One notable incident involved a controversial traffic stop policy that disproportionately affected minorities. Community leaders and activists are advocating for better training and policies to address these issues. Efforts include community policing initiatives and cultural awareness programs aimed at fostering a more inclusive environment. Source information can be found in the description below. Number 7, Zanesville, Ohio. Zanesville's history includes incidents of racial segregation and discrimination, particularly in housing. In 2009, a significant lawsuit was filed against the town for failing to provide water and sewer services to a predominantly African American neighborhood, while these services were readily available to nearby white neighborhoods. The lawsuit resulted in a legal victory for the plaintiffs, highlighting the systemic discrimination that had persisted for decades. Today, Zanesville continues to grapple with these issues, but there are ongoing efforts to promote equality and rectify past injustices. Source information can be found in the description below. Number 6, Foursyth County, Georgia. Foursyth County gained infamy in the 1980s when civil rights marches to support black residents were met with violent opposition, including threats and attacks from white residents. The county's history of racial exclusion dates back to the early 20th century when black residents were forcibly expelled. Although Foursyth County has seen significant demographic changes and economic growth over the years, the legacy of these events continues to affect the community. Recent efforts to address racial tensions include educational programs and initiatives aimed at fostering dialogue and understanding. Source information can be found in the description below. Number 5, Dubuque, Iowa. In the late 1980s, Dubuque faced scrutiny after a cross-burning incident and the revelation of discriminatory housing practices. The town had initiated a program to attract black families from Chicago, but this was met with resistance and acts of intimidation, including cross-burning and threats. In response, Dubuque has implemented several programs to promote inclusivity and diversity, including community forums and partnerships with civil rights organizations. These efforts have led to positive changes, but the town's past continues to influence its present. Source information can be found in the description below. Number 4, Athens, Alabama. Athens has a history of racial segregation and discrimination, particularly in its schools and public services. Reports of racial profiling and unequal treatment by law enforcement have kept the issue of racism in the spotlight. In recent years, there have been efforts to address these issues through community policing programs and diversity training for public officials. Additionally, local organizations have been working to promote racial equality and create a more inclusive environment for all residents. Source information can be found in the description below. Number 3, Taos, New Mexico. Taos has experienced tensions between its Hispanic and Native American populations, and incidents of racism against these communities have been reported. Historical land disputes and economic disparities have contributed to these tensions. Efforts to address these issues include community dialogue initiatives and cultural exchange programs aimed at fostering mutual respect and understanding. While progress has been made, the deep-seated prejudices and historical grievances continue to pose challenges for the community. Source information can be found in the description below. Number 2, Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson has a troubling history and ongoing issues with racial inequality. The city has faced numerous challenges related to racial segregation and economic disparities. Jackson's history of civil rights struggles is reflected in current racial tensions and economic divides. Black residents in Jackson continue to face significant challenges, including higher poverty rates and lower educational attainment. Compared to their white counterparts, source information can be found in the description below. Number 1, Elk City, Oklahoma. Elk City has faced numerous allegations of racism, including discriminatory practices in employment and housing. In recent years, reports of racial harassment and unequal treatment have surfaced, prompting calls for action from civil rights organizations. Community leaders are striving to change this image by implementing diversity initiatives and promoting inclusivity through public events and educational programs. However, the town's history of racism presents significant challenges that require ongoing efforts to overcome. Source information can be found in the description below. Thank you for joining us on this eye-opening journey through some of the most racially troubled towns in America. It's crucial to shed light on these issues to foster understanding and promote change. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others. Don't forget to subscribe to Place Pulse and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest explorations. We want to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Together we can work towards a more inclusive future. Thanks for watching, and remember, knowledge is the first step towards progress.